Hello, I am here today to talk to you about show, don't tell. All right, so here's an example. This is an example of things that I have seen students do for years. And these are students that I've had when I was teaching college classes. Okay, so students would say something like this: the decorations were scary. That's it. They would say the decorations were scary. And I would say, what, in the writing, what did they look like? Well, they were scary. I do not have a picture in my mind of what those decorations were. What made the decorations scary? All right. So here's what good writers do. Good writers create the images in the reader's mind when they're reading. All right. So here's our essential question for today. How can I use sensory language in my own writing? And we are going to be concentrating on using the 5 senses to create powerful imagery in the reader's mind. All right. So what are those 5 senses? All right. When you are describing things and trying to make it feel real to the reader, we're talking about, well, what did it taste like? All right. If you say it tasted really bad, well, like how? Okay, you want to tell the reader, all right? How did things feel? What did things look like? What sounds, right? What sounds did you hear? And what smells? Now, depending on what you're writing about, if you're writing about a bakery, I would think probably the 2 most powerful of those would be what you saw, right? Because when you're in a bakery, you see incredible looking things. You also smell incredible things. I know that when I go through Starbucks, the drive-through, and they open that little window, we are hit with the aroma of strong coffee. There's a little sweetness to it and bold coffee, and it smells fantastic. But giving good details other than just saying it smelled really good, right? You've got to be detailed. Okay, so here's an example. I put this picture here for you, all right? Now, this picture is here for you in this activity, but when you're a writer, you don't include pictures in your short stories or your essays. So here it is. I'm looking at that picture and I see a boy who is bored. So when you're writing and you just tell me the boy was bored, I can close my eyes right now and I am not seeing anything, all right? So what I want to do is practice using this boy to show you how to be detailed in your writing. So here's the boy again, okay? What did the boy look like? All right, so I put here blonde haired, he's got short spiky hair, he's slim, round eyes, his shirt is wrinkled and white. He's got his head tilted to one side and he's resting it on the palm of his hand. He's leaning on his desk. And if you look closely at the picture, there is an empty sheet of white lined paper. Okay, that's what he looks like. Okay, now smells. If I really wanted to impress the reader, I might include, I don't know, maybe he smells peanut butter on his hands. Okay, in this example, I'm not going to use smell so much. All right, sound. How could I include sound to make my reader really interested? So I put here, there is a slight whistle from his congested nose. Okay, that's a sound. Occasionally, he's kicking the desk in front of him with his feet. So I included a thud here. Taste. Okay, I could have said he's chewing minty gum. that he's still tasting toothpaste in the corner of his mouth. I just decided for this example to say that he's got a loose tooth and he can taste the blood in it as he's playing with the tooth with his tongue. All right, and then touch, feeling. Let me think of a few examples for this. His tooth is smooth and moist. The cold desktop in front of him, I included itchy shirt. Okay, those are some touch examples. Now, what I decided to do, now that I have kind of really described what this boy looks like, what he's doing, what he can taste and smell and feel, I'm making a paragraph. And the paragraph is going to show me that he's bored. It's so much better than saying, the boy was bored. Okay, so I didn't use everything I had made up, but here's what I have. The blonde-haired boy in the white, wrinkled, long-sleeved shirt sat with his jaw in the palm of his hands as he listened to his teacher talk with her low, squeaky voice. His tongue concentrated on his very loose front tooth, and he could taste the blood in his saliva every time he moved to the tooth to one side. The teacher's words were only an echo to him. I added a simile, like birds against the horizon. He could hear the words but not process the meaning of the words. He made slight thuds with his tennis shoes against the legs of the desk in front of him as minutes passed like hours. When readers are reading, when you write a short story, that's what they expect. They expect details. Now, those details are hard to do unless you sort of get the image that you're trying to create and you make a list of different things that you could put in that picture. All right, so we went from the boy was bored to those details. Your paragraph that you write is probably not going to be that long. It doesn't have to be that long, but you need to have details to paint a picture. All right, in this, I want you to imagine this is your turn now, and I am giving you a different picture. If I were to give you a picture of this young woman who is holding her phone, to me, she looks shocked or angry or horrified. If you were saying the girl became very angry when she looked at her phone, if you don't give details, when the reader, if the reader were to close his or her eyes, they see nothing. Your job is to make it so they could close their eyes, remember the words, and see exactly what was happening. So, let's give this a try. Go ahead and make a list of what does she look like? What do we see? Are there any smells? Okay, usually that one's the hardest. Any sounds? For example, it would be so easy for me to say that she could hear the girls behind her laughing, whispering. Okay, those are good sounds. She could hear her own heart beating. Any taste? This one's a little bit harder usually too, but see what you can do there. Touch, okay? Is it, you could mention the weather. You could mention that she's got a cracked glass on her phone and she can feel the cracked glass on her smooth phone. And then if you were to look at everything that you came up with and you were to take several of those ideas and put them together, instead of saying the girl looked angry when she looked at her phone, describe that to me, just as if I were looking at that picture. All right, that is show, don't tell. And I want to tell you that when you're writing a narrative or you're writing a short story, you do not have to do that every single time you mention a detail in your story, but you do need to do it numerous times because it's the difference of someone in second grade. Someone in second grade will say, the girl was really mad in class. All right, that second grader doesn't have the ability to describe in detail. We are young adults. Well, okay, not me. But as young adults, we have the ability to use our language and paint a really nice picture for the reader on what things were like. And this is called show, don't tell. Thank you for being here today.